right, I'm trying this. Aurelien Vasinis.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad for an American. So France via Hong Kong, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Welcome to the CRM Sushi Podcast. How the heck are you? How'd you end up? How does a technical Frenchman end up in Hong Kong?
Well, I was an exchange student 10 years ago. Yeah, really liked it. Stayed there, started a company, left a few times, but always came back. Got married earlier this year, so I'll stay a bit longer.
Is your wife from Hong Kong?
Correct.
You're stuck, man. That's why I'm in California. I married a California girl. We always end up where our wives are from. So just get comfortable, okay?
Yeah. I'm not comfortable with the language, but
hey, you know more languages than me. I mean, I'm from Louisiana and English was an elective, So, I mean, I don't know, man. You're doing much better than me. So, were you always technical? How'd you end up developing a new SaaS product?
My background is actually not technical at all. I'm a bit of I'll say a weirdo. I studied political science and finance.
Well,
yeah. So if you look at my background is people will not assume I'm technical. But after spending almost 10 years building software and products, it's all learning by doing, I ended up being technical. That's actually the beauty of, today's economy. You can really learn anything online, right? And actually most developers will argue that, they didn't learn anything at school, right? Everything is all on YouTube. You go on Stack Overflow. Now you have copilots, right? So it really changed the game.
When did you know that you liked the technical world?
I also like selling, right? Marketing. I really like the whole thing with building business. But I think when you build a product, there's a bit of a proud in building things, right? And it's kind of exciting to see things, putting things in motion, building blocks. There's always many ways of building one thing, which is kind of fascinating.
So, but still, that's a big shift. I mean, political science to software development. So, like, are you hands-on developing, or are you finding the problems, bringing the team together, setting kind of the goal and the pace, and then project managing?
I would say, I develop a good portion of the code base. I have people helping me with hosting servers. But yeah, I will say more like a hands-on product manager, knowing exactly what's going on, navigating the code base, looking at the features, really looking at different approach to build things. Almost like a CTO, high level, but still hands-on. We're a very small company, so
Sure.
Multiple hats.
Are your people local? Are they around the world? Or
around the globe? Yeah. I believe in distributed teams. Talent is really everywhere. I work with people in the US, France, Africa, India, Philippines. Really, really global. My first business, we had 5,000 freelancers, so we were pretty much everywhere.
5,000?
Yeah, I was an Upwork of research. It was actually what led me to my second business, Curation AI. First business was research on demand. Half of the research we're doing were actually lists of leads for niche ICPs. And back in the day, you didn't have a lot of AI LLMs who can help you build custom filters to really remove all the noise. So we're doing that manually with, freelancers in developing countries. Now with LLMs, you can really automate the whole process from start to finish, from understanding the requirements to creating those custom filters. And that's what we will, I'll show you in a moment with a demo. But basically, my current business is the conclusion or the evolution of my first business.
Was that Brains Feed?
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, you run a few, right? You had Link Global.
So Link Global was a company I joined after
Okay.
Brent's. Yes.
Okay.
And
But
there
you're
was,
still running, Who is Remote and
yeah.
now
So,
Curation.
yeah. So Who's Remote was more like a side project, um, which was kind of a test to test the market for one data point only for sales team, which was the remote policy of companies. So when I
Okay.
realized, when I was doing research on demand for all those companies looking for basically the TAM, I realized that they always look for very specific data points. And one of the data points was whether or not the company is remote. Because if a company is remote, they buy different type of software. They need service.
Okay.
Think of digital insurance. Think of IT equipment. Think of the legal entity of the employees, employment of record, right? So all those companies, they are very interested in this data point. Now, if you go to ZoomInfo, you go to Sales Navigator, they don't have that data,
Gotcha.
right?
Interesting.
So it was kind of a test. I ran that. It was I built the largest database of remote companies, made good amount of sales just with one data point. And I was okay, there's something I need to build a system where basically anyone can turn the web into a custom database
Okay.
with your own taxonomy. Now, if you need technical people to help you turn the web into, custom database with your own filters, it's not going to fly, right? Because it's going to take forever. It's going to be very complicated. But what if you can prompt ChatGPT like system, so chat, and then the AI agent in the backend can actually take on all the complexity of playing with all those different tools, third parties, scrapping, to get you what you want. So
Nice.
we're almost in the service business, actually. If you look at software, and that's the beauty of agent. We are kind of at the frontier between the software as a service, but service as it's actually doing more than what we could imagine before.
You said that's the beauty of an agent.
Yes. So are you
What
familiar
is,
with
what does that
a-
mean?
agent workflow? So it's kind of trendy at the moment. So basically, an agent is LLM that can trigger all the LLM. So it's an agentic workflow. So you
Gotcha.
kind of have autonomous decision. And so from a simple instruction or requirement, you end up with a lot of things happening, a chain of events that the LLM, it's all LLM based, right? Large language model, right? They have access to their own tools via function coding. There are different ways to call those tools, but basically they can use tools. Tools is just a function, right? Think of another way to put it is you have a toolbox, right? And the LLM can pick those tools inside the toolbox, play with them, and build their own solution to resolve the problem at stake. So you've got different type of agents, and they can work together. So you can have an agent to verify the quality of the work of another agent. You can have an agent who is just in charge of talking to the user. You can have an
Mhm.
agent that actually do the research. You have an agent that is just scrapping information. And all those agents together, that's the framework. And you have a few framework, you have Lemma Index, you've got LangChain, this is kind of the most popular one. And it means that you can really orchestrate a group of agents, what are actually digital workers, to complete very sophisticated tasks that would have required a lot of human effort in the past. And I can tell you, back in the day, for a typical project, I could have like 20, 50 freelancers work on one single project.
Mhm.
Because it's a very tedious work, very long. You have to check all those websites, you have to extract information. There are a lot of things you can automate, right? But when it requires human intelligence or human-like intelligence, well, it's you cannot automate. Now you can.
Right. Is there a quantifiable difference between LLM and AI? are they used interchangeably correctly,
Well,
or
well,
is there a
I don't want to discuss like terms, but basically LLM is one type of AI. It's large language models. It's text based mostly. You can prompt, and then you statistically, the way it works is it's trained on a very large quantity of text, and when you prompt those LLMs, this is statistics, right? They get back to you an answer that is the most likely answer possible. But because it's trained on such a large volume of data, you have something that makes sense. And you can play with, but you have different type of AI. You've got vision model. We use a bit of vision model.
okay? Because I asked because, like we were saying before we started, that you take a lot of things for granted. You've got a lot of knowledge and insight that the average consumer does not. And I was looking up some of your work, and one of the interviews they described Curation AI as a clay killer. Is that
Yeah.
and I just had somebody on that works with clay, and it was helping me understand because 10 years ago, I remember seeing Zapier at a conference, and I couldn't wrap my brain around what Zapier was doing at first. I just, I'm a salesman that learns technical stuff. And so once I understood it, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's connecting all these different apps, this whole if this, then that kind of thing. And, but this whole play and curation AI and agents in the LLM world is like, it's taking Zapier to like an exponential level. Is that fair to say? Because it's doing much more advanced thing, but kind of in the same framework in a way.
So, okay, I see where you're going. So Zapier is more like general. You can really build it's a tool that you can build very different applications, right? So Zapier is more like you have the pipes and you can plug, I think they have 8,000 or 9,000 applications that you can plug together, right? So it can really be
Yeah, but
super.
you can also like just connect them. So if you're CRM, you can export to a Google Sheet. You can push from a free CRM with HubSpot and push it to your MailChimp or something. So like
But it doesn't
it's
have to be sales related, right?
correct.
A lot of people are
But
using
but that
Google.
but that's
Right.
my world. So that's how
Yep,
I approach things.
of course. There are a lot of use cases where it's sales related, but I think that will be the main difference with Clay or Curation. So Clay and Curation is really for go-to-market research, sales lead research, orchestration of the whole playbook, right? Zapier is more like enabling people who are not technical to play with APIs. Actually, that was the key concept at first was like an API to rule them all, right? So basically, you don't need to write a single line of code. You use Zapier, and you don't need to ask your software developer to help you with the API,
Yes.
right? Now, Clay, a lot of people label us a Clay killer. I think we actually speak to different audience. So as you look at teams, sales, a typical sales team, usually they have different type of people within the organization, and they're all in charge of something. So you got pre-sale, you got sales, you got account executive for account management, you got people who like lead researcher, right? You got RevOps, you got someone in marketing, they're going to segment the CRM, right? So you really have a full team of people that all do different things. So you might have like one or two person they're in charge of using Clay. And they actually find with the complexity, they love the fact that the tool is very, you can articulate a strategy. You have a lot of different buttons. They're familiar with the software, so there's no problem. But as soon as you look at smaller teams, it could be like just a founder for an agency, a small SME with just one salesperson and one founder, right? Or it's like a founder, like a new startup, then the tool is way too complicated. And that's where they basically either outsource to a consultant, or if they really want to do it themselves, which, there's a lot of merit in doing things by yourself, then they need something a little bit easier, right? Less
Right.
overwhelming. And
Yeah.
my positioning is, as you increase the number of tools, look at Zapier, for instance. You mentioned Zapier. They started with, I think it was 1,000 APIs. Now they have 9,000. if you want to build exciting things, you need to know what type of connectors you can have,
Yep.
right? You need to connect the dots. They actually implemented a language interface a few months back. So basically
Oh,
now you can chat with Zapier. You can say, I want to connect my
yes.
account with my Slack channel. Whenever I have a payment or I have a churn, I want to have a notification and I'm going to receive it. I'm going to send an email to the person saying, hey, why did you unsubscribe? Now you can do that with Zapier without writing anything or clicking a button. And that's kind of where I'm going with curation is I believe as you add more tools and more data point coverage to curate those lists of leads for the, early, I'll say entry level or like people who are new to sales, it's kind of overwhelming to be familiar with all those different tools, right?
Yes.
But they know what they want or they know what they need. Just chat. And then the complexity of knowing all those different dots, you leave it to the AI agent. So that's the vision.
Yeah, because it is so complex. I see it for myself, see it with the clients I'm working with, small businesses, small business owners, sales managers with 3 or 5 salespeople. We don't want to learn all this stuff. It's like, I need some leads. I need some qualified leads, and I don't want to pay, $10,000 for some list. It's like, how can I, and I don't need 10,000 names right now. I need 100 names a week, 300 names a week. I mean, something manageable, because cold email, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. That's a beast in and of itself. But I mean, I can have my team reach out to 30 to 50 a day. Let's do some direct mail. Let's call. Let's email. Let's connect on social media. Just streamline this, and I don't want to have a PhD and I don't want to have an $80,000 consultant to make this stuff work, So
Yeah. Yeah.
are you helping me reach those goals?
This is my take is you don't need to spam the entire world to make money. Cold email is just one of the channels. And actually people will rely less on cold email if they have better targeting. Because if you know for sure that those 100 names on the list are super relevant, they need your software. You're ready to spend a few $100 to send them a bottle of champagne.
Right.
What's your CAC? How much does it actually cost you to get a customer? For some companies, it's actually a few thousand, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Depending on what you're selling. Sure.
Depending on what you're selling, right? But if you send like very cheap cold email, it's working. Like cold email, I'm not undermining, the fact that cold email works. But if you spend more time on research,
I'm undermining it.
yeah,
It's
well,
noisy, right? I mean, it just feels dirty. I know it works for some, but it feels
it's very
dirty.
easy. But think about it. There are a lot of other channels you could use. You can send
Yeah.
them. It's still outbound. You can call them. You can ask for referral. You can target them with, on LinkedIn. You can target very specific people. You can upload a list of 300 people, and only those people will see your ads.
Yes.
So, but people don't do that, right? Research in most cases is actually not. And I think because it's too time consuming, and as you said, I think you put it in a good way. CEOs are busy, people are busy, they don't want to learn a new tool. We have way too many tools, right? So if you keep it simple with a chat interface, well, you just need to speak. So what do you want? And it's funny because it's actually the same interaction you will have if you outsource the task to someone from your team, a freelancer. You still need to express what you need. Still language. And in my software, you can also speak, actually. We do vocal recognition as speech to text. So you can really literally speak. I'll show you in a few seconds. You can actually explain in English, like the way I'm talking right now. And the system will understand. And then you can just click run. Now, it's still early stage, right? We've got 1,000 users. We have a few dozen paying customers. early stage, but quite promising, and we have good traction. The level of interest for this type of tool, I think, is quite high, despite the competition, right? Because there are a lot of tools, right? But I think I'll say 90% of the tools out there actually for SaaS professional, for larger team, I'll say.
Yeah. So who's buying it? Is it like the CEO? Is it a VP of sales? Is it marketing VPs?
Right now, 99% of the people who put the credit card on my software are funders.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still small businesses though?
Small businesses. Yeah. I do have like a few startups, like 50, 100 people, but small sales team.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, you want to show us how
Yeah.
this works? Show us how simple this is, that even a meathead salesman from Louisiana can run it, right?
Let me share my screen. Yep. Do you see my screen? Yep. All right, cool. So trying to be as simple as possible. On the left, you've got your channels project, right? So you can see I have a fair amount, right?
Okay, that already looks technical. What's all those lines of code? What? It looks like UTM data from a
No. So those are
Facebook ads or something.
just channels where you have like different projects, right? So think of ChatGPT on the left. You also have your channels, chats. So very similar to that. And when you have a new request, you can either go straight to the chat and you explain what you want, right? I want a list of business in Texas that are doing, 10 million in sales. You explain what you want, or you can upload a CSV. So this is basically your initial list that you want to curate. The way I see research is you need to start with a perimeter. You need to start with a bucket of water that you want to purify or you want to filter, right? So this bucket of water can come from different, job boards, Sales Navigator, Google Map, or you have your own CRM and you want to put it by CSV. For instance, if I go co-working space in Hong Kong, I'm going to grab that. All right. So it's going to stream the rest. So you see, I've got like an initial list where I've got the name, I've got the website, got the rating. Now, maybe
Nice.
I want to find co-working space. I want to know who is the owner, right? I want to know how much do they charge? What's the minimum charge? What's the best way to reach out to those co-working space, right? Two ways to work. Either I explain in the chat what I want, or I can actually go straight to the enrichment library where I've got different data points, tools. And this is where I think for people who just get started for, this type of lead research, I think this is where it's a little bit overwhelming. Because you see here, I've got 42 filters, tools. Those are custom. So, almost 100. And remember, Zapier, it's 9,000, I think, or 15,000, right? But you want to have more, right? Because the more you have, the more sophisticated your research can be, right? But it means that the person who just get started need to have either some serious training or play around for a while, right? Now, if I use the chat, I can simply say, and I'm going to do the vocal. Hi, I would like to know the owner of the co-working space. I want to know how much do they charge for a dedicated desk. I also want to know how many locations they have in Hong Kong. I want to know what type of perks they offer. I also want to know if they are dog friendly. And I want to know if this is a local brand or an international co-working space. So you didn't type anything, just speech to text. Then the AI is basically helping you to refine, trying to help you understand what you just asked. Okay, owner of the co-working space, cost for the dedicated desk, number of location. perks offer, dog-friendly status, local or international brand. Okay. All right. So imagine you have a long conversation. You can actually put your entire ICP, drop it. It will actually help you refine. So here's a GPT that we have. But then in the backend, we've got different models, mostly open source one. Once you're happy, you just say, please.
Oh, nice. Do I have to be polite? Do I have to tell it please? Or I tell it, move your ass?
Always be polite because you never know,
Eventually the machines are going to take over and they're going to remember who was nice to them.
Yeah, exactly. I remember someone on Twitter was criticizing AI and someone said, oh, so the guy built a bot on Twitter. Whenever someone criticizes AI, the robot is saying, I will remember you. So basically saving is spinning all. I forget the name of the account, but it's quite funny. We see here, basically, my AI agent picked some tools based on what I asked, right? So it was not perfect, right? Perks offered, didn't get it. Cost of a dedicated desk, he actually created his own custom filter here. What's the cost of a dedicated desk? So what I will do here, if I'm not happy with what the AI picked, and that's something we're still working on because it's like we have to fine tune the model and training the AI to pick based on the requirement. So not perfect. So here, what I will do is I will just create it myself. What perks is in list of again. I'm gonna roam that one and dog. Yeah, I'll show you how it works. Just a quick try. So then you've got it's gonna run for the first few rows just to test, see how it works. Okay, see, got the name of the people. And then you can also find the email if you want. We've got LinkedIn. We can extract a profile. So those are the things I could have actually asked at the same time, right?
Yep.
We'll just email the person, you see, I've got the price for dedicated that. Again, this is the type of thing that not rocket science, right? But very time consuming if you have to do it manually. So this is, and then you can export a CSV, right? For now, we don't have the integration with, all those sequencing tool where you build your campaign and you upload that to an email sequencer. I'm going to be the best at market research, when it comes to account-based marketing and understanding your needs, right? And we will be able to export all those lists to your systems. Maybe using Zapier, actually. The good thing with Zapier is if you connect to Zapier, basically you connected with the rest of the world. But it requires a bit of skills. You have to think like an engineer. That's the problem.
So when I had the guy on that works with clay, it seems like there's so many tools out there, and I don't want to be subscribing to all these things. So it's like he kind of has a service. You just almost just pay, let him run the list, give you the data, then maybe you're good for 3 months. Is this kind of something that you offer?
Yeah.
And would they subscribe for just a month to you or X number of credits and then maybe be done for a while? Because once I have this data, do I still need your platform to run, or am I off to the races now? Plug it into my own Instantly or Keep or HubSpots and go start my prospect?
So you're spot on. One of the problem in the industry is all those tools, all those databases, they're very expensive. They overlap sometimes. And if you want to run your own data shop, you need to subscribe to so many databases. And if you're a very small company, it does not make sense, right? It's way too expensive. For larger enterprise, that's fine, right? It's part of their cost. Yes, it's okay. For us, we try to be as flexible as possible, right? I do have cases where, people subscribe, they were done with the list, and then they were almost like sorry to cancel, but they don't need the data anymore, right?
Right.
For some of my clients, they are funders, they want to know their TAM, they have their TAM, then they need to work on that list. And again, they are alone in the business, right? So it's not like they need new lists. You need to process that list, right? It'll come back eventually, right? So all the credits that roll over, you can cancel anytime. You have to be flexible. You have to be flexible.
Yeah.
One of the difference also, if I may, Clay is offering many different providers type of data point, which I think also increase the complexity. As a user, I don't have the time to benchmark all those vendors. For email, you're going to have like 15 providers. For technology, you're going to have 5 providers. I just need one, right? And very often, honestly, the difference between those providers is it's marginal.
Yep.
Marginal, right? So you're going to spend a lot of time trying to optimize your cost. At Curation, all the data points you see, it's the same cost, right? This is one credit.
Yeah.
Phone number, email, whatever you need, we'll charge you one.
So let me see if I can pull this up. In the direct mail world, yeah, have you heard of the SRDS? So it's basically it's a list of lists. So I don't know if you have them in Hong Kong or in Europe, but if you've been to the US at all, you've probably seen different ads. Do they have infomercials around the world? You know what I'm talking about? They'll have like, look at this hose. It's so small, it fits in your hand, but look, it's 1,000 meters and you can hit it with a hammer. It's indestructible and it's only $9.99. But wait, if you order now, you get 2. Oh, and wait, if you order now, we're going to give you this shovel, and a wheelbarrow, all for $9.99. You're like, how the hell do they make money? And so they sell their lists. So when they buy, they see my address and then they cross-reference. So then if I wanted to do a direct mail campaign, I would say, I want 1,000 names in Southern California of married males, college educated, between the ages of 35 and 55 with kids. Oh, that also subscribe to Sports Illustrated, bam, here's your list. And then you can mail to them. So are you kind of doing that in the digital space?
You could, yeah. I mean, that's one use case. Again, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to turn anything available on the internet about companies and people into potential custom filter.
Yes.
Right. And by custom filter, I mean creating a data point that you would have loved to see on Apollo, ZoomInfo. Actually, Apollo just launched their Power Up, so now you can kind of do custom filters as well. But most B2B database, they have like very standard filters. Revenue,
yes.
Like the classic.
Yes.
But when you do research, when you build your list, you always want to add more.
Yes.
More precise. And it could be used for custom variables as you engage with those prospects. You can personalize the email, even if this word, I'm not a big fan because it's been overused, but at least they are relevant. They're relevant.
Yes.
The example I was giving you earlier, if you sell a virtual office software, of course, you only want to reach out to companies that are distributed.
Yes.
While they're sending an email to companies that actually have offices, they don't need your software. Right? Same if you sell digital nomad insurance, you need remote companies.
Yeah. So, in the world of Instantly and Apollo, I mean, you have these databases out there. Is there like one big granddaddy database that they're all accessing? Or are they building up their own, because like, are you tapping into Apollo, or a level higher than them to do this, or are you curating your own list?
Very good question. I'll tell you a story. When I was young, a few years, not that long ago, I was working in a sausage factory. Right. And
No, don't be lying to me. That's not nice. I'm gullible.
sausage factory, it was the same sausage, different packaging, different
Yeah.
different price for different shops. In the data world, is the same thing. You have 5, 6 big guys to actually do the very heavy, you need a lot of infrastructure to collect the data, right? So when you have a guy who is like running a shop, the 2 people, out of France or out of New York, the 2 guys, and they're telling you they have better data, that those
Yeah.
guys will spend millions a year. They have like 100 people working on that. It's just no way. So you have data reseller, you've got data collector, but they have the infrastructure. Versus to crawl LinkedIn, to scrap LinkedIn, you need a lot of accounts, right? So you have 3, 4 guys who are doing that. But call single, for instance, I can drop some names. You've got trust data. So you have a few players, right? In my case, we're scrapping a lot of data, but we're not trying to build and maintain a database. So it's all real time. We leverage providers that exist because they've done the infrastructure work already, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, being from France, you can appreciate this, right? We have, and this will be an affront to you, but we have a winery here that has almond champagne. And I know to you, you would say that's just sparkling wine because it does not come from the Champagne region of France.
Well,
All right. But so they are known for their almond champagne. Okay. And there's a big balloon festival here every summer. And because where we live in the mornings, we have about 50 wineries right here. And it's usually very calm in the mornings, and hot air balloons are all over the place. And so their balloon is actually this big bottle of almond champagne. And I've lived here 20 years. And I tell you how gullible I am. It's like literally only in the last 3 or 5 years, maybe, I learned that they just white label this stuff. Right. So, and now they have all these flavors, watermelon and coconut and whatever, and they're just getting it from someplace. And so, and if you go to their winery, I forget, it's cheap, man. I want to say $15 or something a bottle. I don't know. But you can go to Sam's Club or Costco right here, the big, warehouse stores, and get it for like 10 or 11. But when you come visit from out of town, you don't go to the grocery store, right? You're like, oh, I'm having so much fun. Look at the balloons. I'll buy your stuff. It's all white labeled. I was like, your premier brand, you don't even make.
It's brand. Look, if you look at a lot of businesses are actually like this, right? Look at
Yes, a lot. I'm shocked at how many.
Look, it's like, especially now, it's so easy to actually leverage existing infrastructure. You build a brand, you're very big on social media, you have a good personal branding, you get a lot of traffic, you convert this traffic into customer, selling any product that you can. Influencers on Instagram are very good at that, right? They partner with cosmetics,
Yes.
factory, right? Manufacturing.
Yes.
The easy part is actually the marketing. It's not easy, but what I mean is it doesn't cost much to get started, right?
Yeah. It's, but then like, how do you differentiate, right? So is it just, are you making it easier, and is the goal like personally, I don't want to take over the world. I don't need a private jet. I don't need 1 million or 1 billion Instagram followers. I want to pay my bills, have money to invest, train jujitsu. But the internet bros will tell you, if you're not trying to be the next Salesforce.com, then you suck. So are you creating like a lifestyle business? Do you want to be acquired, or you just see the opportunity and you're running with it? And You'll pivot when you need to? Like, what's the vision here?
First, I'm actually very interested in the problem, right? Been working on this in my past business, and now I'm back to it.
Hey, as a salesperson and consultant, I'm interested because I've struggled to help some of my clients because I don't want to just recommend things and have them subscribe to 5 or 8 or 10 or 20 different tools. So that's how, like, I'm running across, like, the guy from Clay and you. It's like I'm trying to bring the best solutions to the solopreneur, the micro business, not even small business, 5, 10, 20 employees. It's like I've always wanted to help the little guy, so I'm just as interested in you. I'm doing it from the consulting side versus the development side.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't think we'll be the next, unicorn. I think this term is kind of eroded now. It's kind of those big days are over. For now, I'm just running with it. So it's always a bit too soon to say, right? I don't know if it's going to be a 2 million business, a 10 million business. I'm not trying to do too many things. I'm trying
Yes.
to be the best at research, and I'm trying to have one core principle, which is being as simple as possible. So you see the main interface of dashboard, your first reaction was, oh, you a lot of things going on. I want to change that, right? I want to make it easier, even easier. So maybe starting just with the chat. Still a bit of work, right? Early stage. But yeah, as simple as possible. And for small teams, non-tech savvy professional, to do like sophisticated research workflow that don't require you to have a PhD and
Yes.
data science and feel like you're in mission control and sending rockets.
Yes. And I hope you say yes to this, but I mean, are you using your own tool to find your leads to target them?
Big time. I mean, I will fire myself if I were not, right? You have to eat your own dog, right? And yeah, I'm my first customer. Yeah, big time. Yeah, big time. And look, I don't think it could be otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of that, what is working for you? What are you calling people? Are you emailing? Are you doing direct mail? Like what is helping you get qualified meetings?
So I've done a lot of cold email. And the reason is I'm not preaching for cold email. Actually, I like not to cold email, but I think when you're early stage, cold email is such a good way to verify your assumptions. People don't like cold email. So the majority of people don't like. So if people respond and they're interested, it means your value prop is actually quite strong. So I've sent thousands of cold emails. I have some of my campaigns have got 10 to 20% reply rate, which it's actually quite high. If you benchmark that against
reply. I mean, that's good for opens. It's amazing for reply.
I'm not tracking opens. I'm just tracking reply rate. And campaigns, 80 to 90%, the reply is positive.
Nice.
Yeah. So I went after Clay followers, people who were involved in the Clay ecosystem, right? I'm not trying to, I actually like Clay, right? I've used it myself. I'm just trying to help people who would love to use Clay, right? But it's too overwhelming. They don't have time, right?
It
And
looked powerful, but it did look daunting.
think about, you've got Photoshop and you've got Canva. I want to be the Canva of, okay, something super simple, right? You don't need like very sophisticated features, like,
Right.
your own API. No, a lot of people, they don't need that. They don't want to know. They don't have time. They want something that works.
I'm
Sure.
in Canva every day.
See,
I had Pixelmator on my Mac. I had it on my iPhone. Very good tool. Very affordable.
Yeah.
There was a learning curve, but I learned it and could knock out I had a VA and she would do artwork and stuff. But like once I had templates, it's like I only had like for podcast episodes, I mean, once you dial it in, it's a 5-minute process.
Exactly.
It took me longer to assign the task in my project management, upload the assets, this number, that number. I'm like, I'll just do it. But
Small,
Canva,
you
yeah,
don't.
Canva is like, I'll have your artwork done within 30 seconds of, if I have your headshots, boom, Riverside transcribes. I'm taking notes already over here on my other screen. I'll think of a good headline. The artwork's made, and you can't beat the pricing. So yeah, simplicity is key. And then I need to get my 10-year-old camera. Hey, stand on your tippy toes. I need to get her to learn this stuff, and then she'll be doing work. One of my 7 have to do some work for me. I don't know. You're my last hope, baby. Bye, baby. Oh man. So, are you lucky or were you wise to put curationai.com versus .ai? Because I've been hearing that like the AI TLD is going away, right?
I have Curation.io, Curation.ai, Curation.ai.com. I got about a few.
Were you just being thorough, or did you know like maybe the .ai would go away?
I think .com as a kind of best practice. .com is the best, right? Traditionally and all that. But yeah, it's more like it's like $50. It's not
Yeah, because .ai is what, from another country? Is that what it is?
yeah. Actually, the .ai I didn't know it was going to go away. .io will.
.io. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew one of them was it's going away, right? Or they're shutting it down, or
They will. It's not sure. I think it's an island. It used to be a British colony or something. They
okay.
want it over. Yeah. .io is gonna disappear. It's not confirmed yet.
Okay.
.ai. I don't think. But anyway,
Okay. Yeah. IO. Yeah.
It's always good to have a
I
few
think
things.
it's .io, not AI.
Yeah.
So,
.io.
but either way, it's smart. I mean, you have it in your name and then the .com, so that you're safe with that. So
Safe. Yeah. You
yeah,
don't want to
that's
screw up
good.
Google domain. Yeah.
So I see on your site. So follow us on Product Hunt. What is Product Hunt? What's the value of that? I see it everywhere. It must be good, but
I mean, honestly, I think the golden age of product hunt are gone.
Okay.
I tell you what. And actually, a lot of people will tell you, they will confirm. As soon as you put on product hunt, if you're not a big guy with a lot of following, you're going to have a lot of people coming at you, asking you to pay to get followers. I have like dozens of people who reach out to me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, email. $100, you get 200, 300. So I'll say, yeah, you can still get traffic. I got like customers. I didn't do any advertising on product hunt. I just put it, right? Get some traction. I actually have customers that discovered me thanks to product hunt. But I had more success on newsletters for AI tools, which I didn't pay, right? And some directories like beta list than product hunt. So yeah, product hunt, I'm actually going to remove it from my website. I don't think I think it's one of those old brand that used to mean something, but now it's
right. Gotcha. And you have 3 levels of pricing. The credits, how do your credits work? Is that a name or is that a search? Or how does
data point. Actually, good that you remind me. I need to get rid of that. It's going to be just data points. So basically, no credits. It's just data point. So 99, you get 10,000 credits, which actually are 10,000 data points. So whenever we find some information that you want, the pricing, the email, the phone number, it's one data point.
Okay, so I want to reach out to event planners. I want to do more keynote speaking. So if I say, show me marketing directors or event planners, companies of a certain size that have an annual sales or marketing conference, and I want their, phone number and email. If you give me one person with their title, company name, blah, 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 is that one credit?
It will be a few data points.
That's a few data. Okay.
A few data points. So if you want to know the LinkedIn, the email, the titles, every time you research something, that's one data point.
Okay. So in that example, that might be 5 or 6 data points.
In your example, that might be 5 or 6, yes. So if you have like 1,000, 1,000 on your list, then that will be 5,000 credits. So that will
Yeah.
be $50. So,
Right.
if you put that back to a price, I mean, that's actually quite affordable.
Yeah. I mean, it was, yeah, because like in my world, like that list, yeah, if I got 500 names with all those data points, it's probably all I would need for the year.
Yeah, man.
Because from there, it would expand. I would get referrals and whatnot on my own from my outreach.
Yeah.
That gives me a good qualified targeted list to go after hard
Wow.
and then grow it.
You see, one thing I realize also is you use my tool for that list of events, no string attached, you cancel. But then you remember it was so easy to use and so easy to cancel that you come back for something else. I want to find all the blogs that talk about sales, right? And then I want to find, I don't know, like a consultant in sales, right? In the US, right? And so come up with those ideas. And it's not going to be like so hard to use, so hard to cancel, right? So it's like, you got this, it's like the Canva of research that you can tap into anytime you want, right? It's like a virtual assistant that does not exist, right? And I think that's kind of the positioning I like, right? It's really supporting like small businesses, solopreneurs, freelancers. I actually have freelancers using me too. Because again, like if you're a freelancer doing sales for other people, you cannot afford to have all those subscription on your name. And some clients might not have the subscription themselves, or they're a bit reluctant to say, okay, I'm paying you X. Why do I have to add all those costs? Right? You're a consultant, bring your own tools. Right?
And it seems like too, consultants, maybe I'll do this. I could get your scale plan and then offer services. So you need 1,000 names, pay me, $3 a name and I'll get you 5 data points, blah, 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 and make my money back.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Well, we can take that offline. We can discuss. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's so curation with a K. So I'm linking to it. I'm linking to the website, curationai.com. I'm linking to your LinkedIn for yourself and the company. You've got to try for free here. Nice website. Everything's laid out, super affordable. Did I miss anything?
Nope. Just the K. You just stress out the K. The reason I put a K is because it's a filter. I don't know if it's obvious.
No. It looks like an old Tetris. I thought it was just kind of the kind of a techie sort of K. But I guess if we turn it on its side, it would be maybe a funnel. But then it would be a Y, and it would be like the Yellowstone. I don't know if you've watched that series.
No. But the idea was a cursor and the data aggregation, and the K in that direction is more like a filter. Anyway, maybe it's too complicated.
Hey, I'm a simple man. So just because I don't get it doesn't mean it's probably good that I don't get it. It's a good filter that I don't understand it. Very nice. All right. Well, it's time for some coffee for you. It's time for some whiskey for me. All right. So Aurelien Vasinis, all the way from Hong Kong, founder of CurationAI.com. Thanks for coming on the show, man. It's been great catching up.
Thanks for your time. It was great having you.
Yeah. Have a great day.
You too.